You're the target. They aren't supporting you, they're surveilling you. Trigger warning, this video series covers disturbing and very serious topics. Full legal disclaimer in the video description below. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is Occult Bloodlines, Families of Ritual Power. Today's video is about one of the most misunderstood and most damaging forms of manipulation inside ritual families: surveillance disguised as support. This is what happens when relatives pretend to care, show up unexpectedly, or keep in touch just enough to seem concerned, but are actually gathering information, tracking your energy, and assessing whether you're breaking the script they installed in you. This isn't protection, it's monitoring. And in ritual families, it's strategic. If you were raised in a bloodline with hidden spiritual contracts or ritual involvement, your autonomy is a threat to the system. So from a young age, they don't just control your environment. They monitor your development, emotionally, spiritually, and even energetically. Family members take turns playing the role of observer. They ask probing questions that seem casual, but are designed to check your alignment. They track your moods, your dreams, your spiritual interests. They listen not to overstand, but to assess whether the programming is holding. A common tactic is the check-in call at precise moments. These are not random. They come the night before an important move, the morning of a breakthrough, or right after you've made a powerful decision that could liberate you. A family member reaches out just to see how you're doing. But what they're really doing is testing the field. They're checking whether your energy has shifted, whether your mind has cleared, whether you're starting to remember things they don't want you to. You may also notice that certain relatives only show up during spiritually charged moments, like eclipses, solstices, full moons, or the anniversary of major personal events. These relatives might drop by unannounced, send a coincidental text, or suddenly become interested in your life. But these are ritual monitoring windows. They are timed specifically to disrupt your field or harvest insight about your trajectory. If you've ever felt anxious or drained after a visit that was normal on the surface, trust that instinct. Surveillance doesn't always come with a clipboard. It comes with a smile and a question you weren't ready to answer. Another tactic used in ritual families is positional surveillance. This means someone in your family is assigned to stay close, not emotionally, but physically or relationally. It could be a cousin who lives nearby, a sibling who still talks to you even when others have gone no contact, or a parent who claims to be neutral. Their job is not to support you. It's to report on you. This is particularly common when you try to move, change your name, or start a new path. These individuals may say they support you, but they also keep tabs on your location, your finances, your routines, and your emotional vulnerabilities. In occult systems, emotional intel is currency. Let's also talk about what happens when you try to leave. Whether it's leaving the family, the religion, the country, or a relationship that's tied to your programming, you will be tested. Often, the first step they take is not to stop you, but to send in someone under the guise of help. This might be a relative who says, "We just want to talk," or a family friend who says they heard you were struggling. These figures are often sent to gather intel. They want to know how clear you are, how angry you are, how much you remember. If you say too much, it will be used to recalibrate how the family moves around you. You are not talking to a person. You are talking to the system that sent them. In some cases, the family will deploy energetic triggers, phrases, objects, or people that destabilize you. A relative might bring up a childhood nickname that was always used to shame you. They may gift you an heirloom with energetic bindings. They may use specific tones of voice, bring up dreams, or refer to things you never told them. These are surveillance techniques. They're designed to provoke a reaction, trigger an alter, or reopen a wound. And once you respond, they know how much of the programming still holds. Let's make one thing clear. You were never the black sheep by accident. You were labeled that way because you were the most likely to see through the system. In occult families, the scapegoat is not the failure, it's the threat. Being labeled as sensitive, dramatic, rebellious, or unstable is part of the grooming protocol to isolate you and discredit your awakening. It also makes it easier for handlers to justify watching you. After all, you're the one who needs help. What they're really doing is making sure you never activate fully, because if you do, the system breaks. This form of surveillance also shows up in how your wins are handled. Have you noticed that when something good is about to happen for you, an award, a new job, a move, a healing, you're suddenly bombarded with chaos from family members? Someone needs help. Someone is angry. Someone brings up a crisis that requires your attention. This is not bad timing. It's ritual interception. It's the system testing whether it still has access to your emotional field. If it can hijack your joy, stall your movement, or provoke your guilt, it wins. And if emotional manipulation doesn't work, they escalate. This could mean legal interference, sudden illness in a parent, false reports about your mental health, or attempts to track your digital footprint. The goal is the same: bring you back into the field, keep you from exiting the ritual script. Let's review what we've uncovered. Family members may disguise surveillance as support, appearing kind while tracking your spiritual development. Check-ins and surprise visits are often timed with ritual windows, breakthroughs, or energetic shifts. Certain relatives are assigned to stay close as positioned observers, reporting back to handlers. Emotional triggers and gifts may be used to test your programming or harvest reactions. The black sheep label is often a containment tactic to isolate and discredit you before you activate. Attempts to leave are met not just with emotional resistance, but tactical response from the system. Your suffering is tracked. So is your healing. Both are data points to the family grid. If you've ever felt watched without reason, sabotaged without warning, or checked in on in ways that left you drained, you were not being supported. You were being studied. The good news is, they only surveil what they can't control. And once you see the game for what it is, you stop performing for their feedback loop. You start moving in silence. You begin protecting your signal. And eventually, they can no longer track what they never truly understood. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start. The black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation and leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.